What is up, everybody? Welcome to another video today. And you guessed it, I bought another guitar pedal. No one can stop me from buying guitar pedals. I'm gonna buy them all. But hear me out though, hear me out. The reason that I bought this one, brand new, mind you, I have the box, is because I actually bought something else that led me to buy this. So you guys know me, I'm scrolling on Facebook Marketplace as I do, and I come across a listing for this weird like rack mount unit thingy, and I've never really messed around with any rack mount effects units, so I thought it would be a cool video. Me and the guy who was selling it agreed on $40, so I went to go pick it up. I am about to go get this like multi-effects unit thing. I brought a banana for the journey. And I was super excited to try it out, mess around with it, but lo and behold, I bring it home and only the flanger mode works. Thankfully, the guy was super chill about it and he gave me my money back for it, but now at this point, I've got $40 in cash that I have to spend because it's in cash. And since I was already at work, I decided I was going to buy a new pedal. And I really had two options in mind that were kind of in my price range. I was either gonna get a Proco Rat 2, but option 2 was the Amp Big Muff because I've been listening to a ton of Smashing Pumpkins lately. The thing that you'll probably hear a million people say is that it's like Smashing Pumpkins in a box, which is pretty accurate. Essentially, this is a normal Big Muff pedal, but instead of using transistors, it uses op amps to do the whole distortion thing. And that just creates a fuller, more aggressive distortion sound, and that's what the Smashing Pumpkins used on a lot of their stuff was the Amp Big Muff, but obviously this is a reissue. Pretty standard layout, it's essentially the same as any normal Big Muff. The sustain knob controls sustain and also distortion. This is just a master volume, this is the tone, and this little switch right here essentially bypasses the tone stack. But yeah, fairly simple pedal. Let's hear how it sounds. I don't know if it's just me, but there's something very satisfying about clear objects in general. Whether it's like those clear acrylic guitars or even just something simple as a coffee mug. I think we need more clear objects in the world. All right, let's switch on the amp. Amp is on. Here's my clean tone. And now we activate the Big Muff. For this little demo, you'll see that I have the volume pretty low on there. That's just so that I can keep everything at a manageable volume, but the volume knob really has no effect on the actual tone. That being said, I have the other two knobs at 12 o'clock, and I have the tone switch to on. I feel like a pretty good initial test for a pedal is if it sounds good when all the knobs are at 12 o'clock, it's probably pretty good. Alright, so I just moved the sustain all the way to the right, and that sounds like this. As you can hear, it gets super distorted like that, and it also kind of adds a little bit of high-end sparkliness. So I think now's a good time to turn the tone knob all the way down. I'm not sure how well the microphone's going to pick it up, but it gets very bassy with the tone knob all the way down. I think the difference between this tone stack and a lot of other ones is that instead of just cutting out the high end, it also boosts the bass frequencies. But now I'm going to put the sustain back to 12 o'clock and then move the tone all the way to the right side. It sounds very thin, like you can tell how much bass is cut out of the signal right there. Just like the majority of pedals, I would never have the tone all the way to one side or the other. Probably right around 12 o'clock, maybe a little bit more towards the brighter side is where I'd have it. Now I'm gonna try it with the sustain all the way down and hear how that sounds. You can hear that there's really minimal distortion going on, but it changes your guitar tone quite a bit actually. So I think now would also be a good time to see how it sounds with the tone stack off. Definitely changes the tone a little bit, but without that sustain, there's a lot of high end that gets cut out of your signal. So I turn the sustain back up to around 12 o'clock, and let's compare with and without the tone stack. So So one thing I've seen a lot of people say is that with the tone on, you get a lot of like mid-range cut out of your signal. And I do also notice that with the tone switch flipped to off, my tone just sounds a little bit fuller and thicker. Not necessarily better, because I do like the control that the tone provides, but it's just a little bit of a different sound. But honestly, I think that's pretty much all we can test with the pedal. Like I said, it's not a super complicated pedal. There's not a whole lot of different features on there, but yeah, sounds like Smashing Pumpkins for sure. All right, so you guys know the drill. At this point, I think the only thing we have left to do now is just make a song with it. So let's go ahead and do that, shall we? Okay, not sure if you can see. All right, let's record something. Alright, so obviously the track that I make is going to sound a lot like Smashing Pumpkins, but that's okay. In typical Smashing Pumpkins fashion, I'm going to record that like 7 billion times. Okay, that's a cool little lead sound. Let's get that in there. That'll suffice. It's not perfect. Alright, I think we're done with guitars for right now. Right now I'm gonna mess around on the drums. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just export one of the guitar layers and then just try to record whatever drums I can over it, and whatever I get is what I'll use. I have honestly no idea where to put this room mic. There we go. Figured it out. Alright, let's just go. Oh lord, that room mic is exploded. That sounds cool. I'm just going to redo that with the room mic quieter. Okay, now we try to mix those. I wanted to get a perfect take, but that's just not gonna happen. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have just recorded and mixed and time adjusted all the drums. I actually didn't really need to do that much time adjusting and changing of stuff. I've been practicing both drums and guitar quite a bit recently, so I can actually kind of feel that I'm getting a little bit better, which is very nice and satisfying to like actually see your progress. Anyways, now we record bass guitar. Okay, we got bass. I think I'm gonna record some acoustic guitar because I feel like the song needs some more layers. Okay, so at this point, I think this little beat here that I've made is basically finished. I'll be honest though, I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't know why I'm not really liking how it sounds, but that's okay, because sometimes that's just how it happens, you know? So my final thoughts on the Amp Big Muff pedal. It definitely sounds exactly like the Smashing Pumpkins, which is really cool. For me personally, I haven't really used Fuzz a whole lot before, so it's gonna take some time for me to get used to figuring out how to use it in my own sound. All in all, extremely fun pedal to play, and also sounds really good recorded, but it probably will take a little bit of doing to get this to sound good in a mix. But either way, if you like the Smashing Pumpkins, it's a really cool pedal and you should check it out. So yeah, that is pretty much gonna do it for me in this video here today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and you should let me know what other pedals you want to see me try out. I'm having a lot of fun doing these pedal videos and just collecting all sorts of different pedals. So hopefully you guys are as big of nerds as I am about this kind of stuff. Thank you all again for tuning in, and I will see you all in the next video.